Hi everyone, today we are continuing with our solving and we're going to solve when we have to factor trinomials, meaning that our leading coefficient is either 1 or greater than 1. All right, so the steps remain the same. We're going to factor, set factors to 0, and then solve for x here. Okay, so on the example problem, it says solve using factoring. So from last time, we learned how to factor. So remember, we're multiplying to 3, what adds to 4, and that would give me x plus 3 and x plus 1. I'm assuming at this point that you guys can do this. Okay, so I'm not going to take the time to draw the tables. So I take each of those factors, set it equal to 0. So I end up with -3 and -1. All right, so the same thing happens over here. We're going to take and we're going to factor these down. So I end up with an x plus 2 and also an x minus 7. So when I set them equal to 0, then I have a -2 and a positive 7 over here. So the only difference between this class, last class, is we're working with the trinomials, and you guys have to factor those down yourselves. Okay, so once again, we're going to factor here, x and x. I need factors of 8 that add up to 2. Okay, so I know 4 times 2. Try this. Okay, x plus 4, x minus 2 are the factors that we should be looking for, and that gives me solutions of -4 and +2. Okay, with this last one, we need to make sure we bring the 16x across. So x squared minus 16x plus 64 is now equal to 0. Okay, and that's going to break down to x minus 8 and another x minus 8. Now in this case, there's only one 8. The solution is only listed once. You do not list them twice. Okay, so here, do not write 8 twice. We're only going to do it one time because it either hits 8 or it doesn't hit 8. Even though you have 2 factors, you would only list the unique solutions here. Okay, with this slide, same thing, except this time we're dealing with a number larger than 1. So if you guys remember, we had to factor out a GCF first and then factor down this middle. And I did this problem just to go back and remind you guys that you're doing this AC grouping 2 times the +4, which gives us 8 over here in the table. Okay, we find the -1 and -8, plug it in, group, okay, and then these are my solutions. So this is still the same thing we did last unit. All right, so I have the 3 cannot ever be equal to 0. We throw that out, x minus 4 and 2x minus 1. So you can see that gives me a +4 and a +1/2 when I set those factors equal to 0. So the only difference here is you guys are having to come over and do this grouping problem so that you can get your factors that you set equal to 0. Okay, so in the U-try, okay, you guys would do your tables. You could also do guess and check here. Okay, we have 2x and x, it gives us 2. We know 5 and 1. Okay, so I'm looking for a +5 and a -1. Remember that you can check this by just foiling. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times -1 is -2x, and another 5x is +3x, plus 5 times -1 is -5. Okay, so my solutions here are going to be a -5/2 and a +1. Okay, so you're setting them equal to 0. You solve each of them individually. Okay, so for the second one, same thing. We would have a 2x plus 3 and an x minus 2. Okay, so let me back up for a second. I had to make sure that I pulled that 6 across before I started. Okay, everything has to be on one side. Okay, and then I factored that. So make sure if you don't do that, chances are you're going to have some issues. So my answer is a -3/2 and a +2. Okay, same thing with the bottom. 4x squared minus 2x minus 42. Now, that's equal to 0. I actually have a GCF of 2 here, so I can take that out. Okay, and now I have 2x minus 7 and x plus 3. So that means the 2 on the outside will end up eliminating itself, just like our example on the left. So I would have a +7/2 and a -3 here. Okay. So the whole idea is to make sure that you are doing your AC method of solving, just like in the example. Okay, you're still setting factors equal to 0.